I just wanted to show you this. This is the whole segment. Choice for president among registered voters in Arizona. RFK, 26%. Trump and Biden both at 33%. What does that tell you? And Kennedy's position on Gaza in the Middle East is horrible.
There's only one choice for all three of them.
They all have the same. By the way, they all have the same policy on Gaza.
Is that odd?
Isn't that
all
odd?
Three choices have the same position? Wow. No problems there.
Isn't that odd? But Kennedy has a different position on most every other thing.
Yeah.
Except that he doesn't mind us going to World War III in the Middle East. It just wrecks everything. But
yeah, well, this country's real. This is a real thing, and you should believe in it.
So look at that. So the margin of error is plus or minus 4.4%. So if you give Kennedy 4%, that's 29, right? No, that's 30. And if you take 4% away from them, he's actually winning.
Well, don't worry. Gaza is going to be slaughtered any way you cut it.
He's within the margin of error. Put it that way. So people, the independent, people who consider themselves independents is skyrocketing. And if you listen to MSNBC, they'll tell you that those people are all racists.
Yeah. It's sad how many people turn to racism because of one genocide, and also wasting all your money on Ukraine, and also not helping Lahaina, and also not helping East Palestine. Also not eggs are $20. And
not doing anything about. Isn't it funny how nobody running for president or any political office, like there's a Senate race here in California, it doesn't even come up. Like, hey, do you have a program to fix homelessness? Doesn't even come up.
Well,
doesn't even come up.
Bill Maher ain't gonna bring it up to his buddy Gavin Newsom.
I saw a thing the other day, Kurt. 1 in 5 children in America suffer from hunger. In America, that's what let me. You know what? Let me go ahead and let me Siri that. Hey Siri, how many children in the United States suffer from hunger? Feeding Americans, about 1 in 7 children, or approximately 11 million children, experience hunger and do not know when they get their next meal or when. 1 in 7. So 11 million kids in the United States. But let's send another $113 billion to Ukraine and make sure they have their salaries met, and they all have health care, they all have education, they all have Social Security, they all have everything. We're paying for everything in Ukraine.
Oh, and then let's bring in just masses of military-age illegal migrants and give them better shit than you have if you're from here. Like, is everyone crazy?
That's the mind blower. That's the mind blower.
Did you see Cat Williams talk about it?
Yes, I did.
He goes, I did. In front of the homeless, like, this is what you could have had.
This is what you could have. We could have given you this. We could have given you housing and a credit card.
Yeah.
And a credit card to go buy food for yourself. They give that to immigrants.
Yeah.
Well, don't you think in a way you should just like cross the border, come back, pretend you don't speak English, and maybe America will take better care for you?
If you're homeless, why don't you do that?
I was going to do that for privacy. I was going to renounce my citizenship, sneak back in, and let that sweet privacy of not being tracked anywhere for some reason.
Yes.
Unlike a citizen who would be tracked everywhere. Illegal, we don't know. We lost track of them.
Again, this is not to demonize the immigrants. If I was if I was in Venezuela and Donald Trump put economic sanctions on my country to crush our economy and then try to overthrow our government and then install a puppet like Juan Guaido, and my life became miserable because of it, and I didn't see a way out, I would probably emigrate to the United States also as a desperate person. So I'm not angry at the desperate people who are desperate enough to come here. I'm angry at our government for A, not securing our border, B, not taking care of the people who are here. We could take care of both. Turns out we could. Turns out we actually do have the resources and the money because we just print it anyway. And I'm angry at my government for creating those desperate people who now become immigrants to our country. Was it 7 million Venezuelans have left their country since Trump put on those
it was ready to collapse. We were about to get the oil. They were about to collapse, and they were both.
The thing I don't get is all the Chinese, right? So you see those. I've seen that you say military age Chinese men coming.
Oh, Syria, all the countries we've been kind of not cool with. Military age men flooding right in. I'm sure they came in because they want to join our military machine against their former country, and not because the other countries might have been bright enough to send some sleepers.
So this is some kind of a plan that the establishment is in on. And the establishment, I mean, like the WEF establishment,
the international
corporations that actually
phasing out governments that you vote for.
That's right, that actually control our government. If you think that the people you vote for actually control anything, you're a sucker. And when they have a session of Congress, they're not there doing the bidding for workers and the elderly and students and anybody except the international billionaire class. That's what's happening. And so I don't know exactly I know one of the angles, or two of them, to have an open border policy, which Joe Biden has, is that people aren't joining the military. They kicked out all those people over the vaccine mandates.
Right.
They can't replace them, and people aren't signing up like they were. And also,
all your kids are too fat.
They want to suppress the wages of American workers. So that's two reasons for sure. We've talked about it on this show that another reason could be that they want to make everybody on edge and begging for authoritarian solutions to the problems of the homeless, the drug addicts who accost you when you go to 7-Elevens, the immigrants who are now they're now giving our community centers to, right in our face of the homeless people, right in their face.
There's just no downside.
They're setting up cots and community centers across the country for immigrants, but not the people who live here, not the veteran homeless people, not the regular homeless people, not any. They're doing it, and
not immigrants. Immigrants are legal. That's a process. But these are illegal immigrants. It's a big fucking difference. Everybody calls them immigrants.
Well, they say they're asylum seekers.
Yeah, well, that's bullshit. That's a big crock of shit.
So
I mean, you shouldn't have to qualify this because that Amish kid. Who cares what he cuts? He's nothing.
I mean, I don't want to get into a position where I'm demonizing desperate people, and I don't want to pit poor Americans and middle class against poorer people who are here. This is by design. So you should be upset at the establishment who is doing this. And for them to say that they can't take care of these people and give you a community center, they're lying to you. They're right now getting ready to send enough money to end homelessness in the entire country 10 times over to Ukraine again.
They lose more than that every 10 years.
That's right.
They just lose more
They lose $1 trillion every 10 years.
I'm sorry, let me correct that malinformation. It was debunked. They just can't account for it.
They can't account for it. You're right.
It's a huge difference, as you know.
So they can do both. They're doing this so they pit poor immigrants against poor working class Americans. That's what this is. Obviously that's what this is, because they'll do it for Ukraine. They'll do it for Israel. We send billions and billions of dollars to Israel. Guess what Israel has that you don't? Healthcare. Nobody in Israel has to worry about going bankrupt when they get sick. They have healthcare. They have a lot of things you don't have, believe me. They're not doing it here on purpose. So don't get angry at the immigrant. Get angry at the establishment who's creating those desperate people, then allowing them to come here, and then pretending they have to give your resources to those people.
Yeah,
that's all set to create strife and unrest in America. They're doing it on purpose.
All you got to do is not fall for that penny ante bullshit about which color is your enemy. You know, these dipshit. I mean, it was masterful in 2016 when they had like the alt-right versus the wokies. They were called social justice, and it was the most clearly engineered bullshit thing by all the major media and major corporations because they were scared of Occupy Wall Street.
That's it.
It really upset them to have a smelly drum circle.
That's right.
Which I supported because I wanted those businessmen to jump out the windows. It upset them so much that Obama put that sack of shit Larry Fink and BlackRock in charge of sorting out all the loans and all this other shit.
Yep.
And that's how we got here. The little stupid like consultants, they're not even the power here. They couldn't do it without these rich assholes hiring them. So just keep that in mind. And don't just get in your little identity or your dumb. You're like, how come I can't have white pride? If you got to say you're the king, you're not the king. That's why, stupid.
So I've said this before, I'll start saying it again. I haven't said in a while, but if you find yourself being angry at someone lower on the economic ladder than you are, you're probably being manipulated by someone higher on the economic ladder than you. And we'll see you this Saturday in Palm Springs at the Mary Pickford Theater. And what is it called? What's the actual, what is it? Cathedral City. So we'll see you this Saturday. And then what do we got after that? Oh, March 17th. That's sold out, right? Okay, so March 17th is sold out. And then we'll see you in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, and Oakmont, Pennsylvania. That's April 19th, 20th, and 21st. We'll see you then. Kurt, do you have any place you're going to be soon?
Yes,
you're going to be with us. You'll be with us this Saturday.
Yeah, I'm KurtMetzgerComedy.com. All my dates are listed. I got a bunch of dates coming up.
Okay.
And, you can find them there, and I'll put up promos.
Okay. Hey, come see us live on tour in Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Stockholm, Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Berlin, Copenhagen, Oslo, Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, Cortland, New York, Oakmont, Pennsylvania, right outside Pittsburgh, El Paso, and San Antonio, Texas. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.